You ever see a house so stunning it makes you question your entire existence? Like, wow, maybe I should have stayed in choir and tried to become a global icon instead of dropping out to play Fortnite. Well, today we're stepping into Beyoncé's Malibu sanctuary, a place so serene, so luxurious, and so stupidly perfect that even the Pacific Ocean looks up at it like, okay, Queen, I see you. This isn't just a mansion. This is the Beyoncé of mansions. Calm, confident, effortlessly iconic. The kind of place that doesn't scream wealth. It whispers, you wish. Hidden behind towering cypress trees and wrought iron gates, the estate sits high on a cliff overlooking the endless blues of the Pacific. The driveway is long enough to make delivery drivers rethink their life choices, and guarding the entrance is a 2,500-year-old lion head sculpture excavated near Mount Vesuvius. Because apparently Beyoncé doesn't do garden gnomes, she decorates with ancient mythology. Walk inside and it gets even more disrespectfully beautiful. The formal dining room features a hand-carved French limestone ceiling and a custom table that seats 24 people, which raises the question, who are these 24 people? And what do you have to do in life to earn that dinner invite? Down the hall is a private library anchored by a Hermes marble fireplace, a space that seems designed for reading, reflecting, and casually planning global domination. Every room feels intentional, elegant, and quietly dramatic. A private cinema for late-night screenings, a fully equipped gym for training like a superstar, a wine cellar for the vintages that deserve their own security detail. Even the elevator looks like it would politely decline to take you to any floor you don't deserve. Outside, the luxury goes feral. An infinity-edge saltwater pool that blends into the ocean like someone edited reality with Photoshop. A full outdoor kitchen where brunch probably tastes like success. A pavilion styled like a Roman palace, with onyx-lined changing rooms and an indoor pool that feels like it belongs in a movie where someone whispers, "My family won't approve of this romance." This home isn't built for attention. It's built for restoration, a place where Beyoncé can finally exhale, recharge, and exist without cameras chasing her rhythm. Here, she's not performing. She's simply being. But the moment she leaves this hideaway, oh, she moves differently. Beyoncé's car lineup doesn't behave like your typical celebrity fleet. It's layered, intentional, and borderline poetic. You'd expect a garage full of futuristic supercars, right? Nope. The first surprise is a Toyota Camry. Yes, Beyoncé has the same car your neighbor backs into mailboxes with. But that's exactly why it's iconic. It's her stealth mode. Her blend-in and vanish vehicle for days when she wants peace, not pandemonium. Then, of course, the contrast hits. A classic Rolls-Royce Silver Cloud drophead coupe that radiates vintage Hollywood royalty. A Rolls-Royce Cullinan that pulls up like a moving kingdom. A Mercedes V-Class that doubles as a mobile dressing room. Even a Ford Crown Victoria giving mysterious undercover energy. And the Alfa Romeo Spider, pure wind-in-your-hair freedom. Her car collection doesn't scream wealth, it whispers personality. It's Beyoncé saying, every lane has a version of me. But when she's not gliding around the coast or hiding from paparazzi in a Camry, her Malibu mansion becomes the heart of her creativity. Yoga as the sun rises, journaling with the ocean as background music, experimenting with plant-based cooking, swimming laps in an infinity pool that looks like it deletes stress on contact, and collecting art that feels like it belongs in a private museum. Her hobbies are surprisingly grounded, peaceful, almost spiritual, which makes sense. When you're Beyoncé, the world is loud. Malibu is where she turns the volume down, but peaceful routines and quiet luxury only tell half the story. Because once Beyoncé steps outside her Malibu cocoon, she doesn't just rejoin the world, she rearranges it. And the empire she's built? It's the kind of empire where the business meetings probably feel like spiritual awakenings. Her power moves started early. Long before billion-dollar deals and global campaigns, Beyoncé realized that being the talent wasn't enough. She needed to own the stage, the cameras, the content, and the narrative itself. That's when she launched Parkwood Entertainment, the engine room of her entire universe. What started as a production arm eventually evolved into a multimedia powerhouse that manages everything from albums to films to world tours, basically the control center where art meets empire building. Parkwood is the reason Beyoncé doesn't need a press release to go viral. It's how she drops a surprise album on a random Thursday night and breaks the internet like she's swatting a fly. It's also the platform where she mentors rising stars, shaping the next generation with the same precision she applies to her music videos. But she didn't stop at entertainment. Beyoncé slid into the beauty world like she was born to do it. Her luxury hair care line, designed for all textures but especially for curly and textured hair, wasn't just a business play, it was a cultural statement. Years of research, testing, and development went into it, and the end result was a brand that felt personal, intentional, and deeply rooted in identity and representation. And then came the partnerships, the ones that weren't just endorsements, but strategic alliances. Pepsi, Armani, Tommy Hilfiger, L'Oreal, Tiffany, and Company. The list reads like a VIP section of global brands, each trying to stand close to the Queen's aura. The Tiffany deal alone made headlines not just because she wore one of the rarest diamonds on earth, but because she became the first Black woman to ever do so. Beyoncé doesn't just collaborate, she rewrites the rules as she signs the contract. Even in the streaming world, she made noise by joining the ownership circle of Tidal alongside other music titans. It wasn't about having another platform. It was about artists finally claiming their power back in an industry that has notoriously taken advantage of them. Beyoncé walked in, placed her crown on the table, and the room adjusted. Her ventures didn't stop there. From fragrances that dominated shelves for years to Ivy Park, her athletic brand that took off like a cultural movement, she continued building worlds within her world. Even when partnerships didn't last, like Ivy Park's split with Adidas, Beyoncé treated it like a costume change, not a setback. Because if one door closes, she simply builds a new one with a better view. But the true flex? Beyoncé's business achievements don't overshadow her heart. They amplify it. The philanthropy woven into her journey is massive, quiet, and consistent. She doesn't donate for headlines. She donates because she never forgot where she came from. Her community work stretches from Houston to Africa, from hurricane relief to addiction recovery centers, from supporting Black Lives Matter chapters to funding mental health programs during COVID. She has paid rent for families facing eviction, rebuilt homes, funded college tuition, supported reproductive rights, backed youth programs, and uplifted marginalized communities globally. The list goes on, and then keeps going. And she's been doing it since the early 2000s, long before social media turned charity into a PR strategy. Beyoncé gives because her roots demand it, not her brand. But what's wild is how she balances all of it, the empire, the mansion, the legacy, with a personal life that remains fiercely protected. She married Jay-Z in a small private ceremony that could have easily been a global event, but they chose intimacy over spectacle. Together, they've become one of the most powerful and wealthy couples in entertainment, but somehow still managed to protect their inner world like it's a national treasure. And their 3 kids, Blue Ivy, Rumi, and Sir, are growing up in a world most of us can't even imagine. Blue Ivy already has a Grammy before some people have a driver's license. The twins? Give them time. They're probably plotting world domination during nap time. Beyoncé's home is where she becomes the mother, the wife, the daughter, the sister, the completely human version of the superstar the world sees. Her Malibu sanctuary isn't just a house. It's the reset button, the shield, the place where the world gets quiet so she can get loud again. And with all that power, privacy, and presence, there's still one question everyone loves to whisper about: the money. Because Beyonce in 2025 isn't just rich. She exists in a financial galaxy the rest of us observe through telescopes. Her net worth has soared to around $700 million. And no, that's not counting Jay-Z's empire, because Beyonce built her own. Brick by brick, deal by deal, era by era. She didn't inherit it, she didn't marry into it, she architected it. Every album rollout, every business venture, every partnership, every ownership play, it all adds up to a fortune that feels less like money and more like a masterclass in long-game strategy. Pair that with Jay-Z's $2.5 billion portfolio, and together they've become the closest thing entertainment has to royalty. But the most impressive part? Beyoncé never lets wealth define her. Her value has never been measured in dollars. It's measured in influence, vision, legacy, and the culture shifts she creates without even trying. Her power moves started early. Long before billion-dollar deals and global campaigns, Beyoncé realized that being the talent wasn't enough. She needed to own the stage, the cameras, the content, and the narrative itself. That's when she launched Parkwood Entertainment, the engine room of her entire universe. What started as a production arm eventually evolved into a multimedia powerhouse that manages everything from albums to films to world tours. Basically the control center where art meets empire building. The Tiffany deal alone made headlines not just because she wore one of the rarest diamonds on earth, but because she became the first black woman to ever do so. Beyoncé doesn't just collaborate, she rewrites the rules as she signs the contract. And honestly, that's the secret to why her world feels so captivating. The Malibu mansion isn't just for show. It's the physical representation of independence earned through decades of discipline, reinvention, and absolute creative mastery. The car collection? Not bragging rights, it's expression. The business empire? Not about capitalism, it's about art, ownership, and rewriting an industry that once tried to box her in. Even her philanthropy speaks louder than any chart position or award. She changes policies, uplifts communities, funds futures, and amplifies voices that would have been silenced without her. And she does it without theatrics, because Beyoncé giving back isn't a moment. It's a lifestyle. But here's the part that hits different. For all the global superstardom, she still chooses to pull back the curtain only when she feels like it. That carefully protected air of mystery, that's intentional. That's her final boundary in a world that would devour every minute of her life if she let it. And somehow, the less she shares, the more we want to know. Beyoncé proves that privacy is still the ultimate luxury. More exclusive than couture, more valuable than diamonds, more powerful than fame. Which brings us right back to the cliffside Malibu oasis where our journey started. A home that isn't just beautiful, it's symbolic. A reminder that Beyoncé may be the biggest entertainer of our generation, but behind the spotlight and beyond the noise, she's a woman who carved out her own peace, her own sanctuary, her own freedom. From the quiet kid in Houston with the once-in-a-generation voice, to the global icon with a legacy carved into culture, to the woman who wakes up in a mansion overlooking the Pacific and thinks, all right, let's make history again. Every chapter in Beyoncé's story has been deliberate, fearless, and beautifully crafted. And that's the magic. She doesn't just dominate music, she shapes industries, moves economies, inspires generations, and redefines what power looks like. Soft, elegant, intentional, but absolutely unshakable. So now that we've stepped inside her Malibu kingdom, what impressed you the most? Was it the cliffside mansion, the car collection no one saw coming, the empire she built with precision, or the calm, private life she protects like treasure? Drop it in the comments. I'm curious what part of Beyoncé's world hit you the hardest. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into the Queen's universe, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss what we explore next. Because with Beyoncé, the next chapter is never predictable, but it's always iconic. Thanks for watching.